I'm going to tell you everything that you need to be able to learn to code in 6 months. 6 months ago, I barely knew what coding was. Now I build real apps, and here are some of the apps that I built. These include some terminal apps, some messaging apps, and even some websites that helped me as a person. Like I built my own blog page, my own portfolio website. I was inspired by other creators, other teens that are building products, and I wanted to be like them. I was also interested in technology since I'm 5. So I wanted to give it a shot. I started with learning HTML and CSS. Think HTML as the roots of web development. So if you don't have any HTML, you're not gonna see like any content at all. So it's the core thing that you have to learn first. It takes a very little time to learn. Actually, you can learn it in a day, and actually I learned it in a day. But CSS, it's much harder and much more important. CSS helps you style the websites. As you style the websites, they're gonna look better, much more beautiful. Like think, you can make a button blue, and CSS is extremely important for user experience. If you don't have any CSS, probably no one's gonna look at your website. In the third place, you have to add some interactivity. Like for example, when a user clicks a button, an action has to happen. Like for example, a text has to pop and write something like, "You're logged into your account," or something like that. JavaScript is a real language though. It's not like HTML or CSS, because HTML and CSS are not real languages, but they're much more easy to learn. But JavaScript will also teach you about all of the programming concepts that you'll need in your career. For example, what a variable it is. And of course, you have to start learning the basics first if you want to get better. So with the help of JavaScript, you'll be able to build interactive websites, web apps. But JavaScript, HTML and CSS, it takes a lot of lines and manual work to write them. So why don't we get even better? That's why Facebook launched React in 2011. With the help of React, you can build components that you can reuse. For example, if you want a button to be styled exactly the same all over the app, which we want because consistency is the key to design, React's gonna help you a lot. And you're gonna write much less lines of code using React. After React, I suggest learning Tailwind CSS, because it's hard to write real CSS and it takes a lot of lines. So think Tailwind CSS as a much more straightforward version of CSS. It gets the job done, the same thing, but you can write it inline in HTML files, so you can visualize your code even better. So I'm mentioning that much of skills, but how are you gonna learn those? You don't have to buy any expensive courses or anything, because I didn't, and I was able to learn them. You're gonna use YouTube. There's a lot of courses in YouTube that will help you. For example, FreeCodeCamp.org is a great source, and there are much more other code teachers that you can use to learn to code, which is amazing because the community is very big. Though first, you have to pick your roadmap. So if you wanna pick front end, which is related how the things look and how they behave, then you're gonna learn the front end skills. But if you wanna learn backend, which deals with users, deals with data mostly, then you're gonna learn backend. Though I mostly suggest frontend because it will help you learn JavaScript, and also it's much easier. So after Tailwind CSS, you can learn Next.js. It is a React framework that makes everything much easier. So think, there's a router which helps you to create a lot of pages, because a website has to have a lot of pages, like /admin, /login, /signup type of stuff. But it's hard to do it in React, but it's so easy to do this in Next.js. Next.js also improves SEO, which just helps you to get ranked better in Google searches. It also helps you to create server components, which is much more performant and better. After Next.js, you're actually done. You can learn stuff like Zustand, which helps you develop your state management, and such stuff is very important. Also, never skip testing, because it's bad to skip testing, and if you skip testing, then your projects may fail. Also, my best suggestion would be to build projects that are truly yours. Don't use AI for those stuff. Use your skills. Try. Fail. Maybe look for some posts on the internet, search. Yeah, you can use ChatGPT, because I used it a lot too for coding stuff, but it's not perfect, and most of the time ChatGPT gives you all the resources, which is depreciated these days. It's best to build projects just by yourself. Try building them. You'll fail, surely, but when you start succeeding, you'll feel that you can now code the front end all by yourself. Also, deploy your projects, so if you want to get a job in the future, then it will be much easier for you because your employers will see your projects all over the internet. You'll also build your personal brand, which will help you in those stuff. Also try to build collaborative projects with other people, because the real work is done by collaborating with other people. Though if you want to learn backend, there's a lot of ways. For example, I did not choose JavaScript for that, which most people does, because it's just much easier and it's exactly the same language. Also, there's much more tools that helps you write JavaScript easier with backend and Next.js, but I picked Golang, which is a different programming language. Why? Because I was bored from JavaScript, because Golang was more idiomatic and systems level, and also it felt good. I was just curious. Now I'm able to build very advanced backends with Golang, and I'm very happy about it. So if you want to master both of these skills, then you'll become a full stack developer, and it's what I have done. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, right after JavaScript, try to learn TypeScript, which is just a better JavaScript. It has types in it. Like, you define a variable using its type. Like, if you want a variable to be letters, which is called a string, then you can define it like that in a stage that you feel ready. And when you just start to build projects, learn all about Git and GitHub. Git and GitHub helps you collaborate with others, but also helps you stage your development, and if you have done something wrong, then you can just get it back easily. It's the most important tool and the most used tool in the market. By the way, as a code editor, I highly suggest VS Code for beginners, and when you start getting advanced and building more projects, you can try Cursor AI. Cursor is just a better VS Code that has AI built in it. These are some of my projects. Yeah, they were not perfect, but they helped me. In my first times, I never built any projects because no one told me, and when I started to build projects, I just used AI to code all of them, which was so bad because they didn't help me to develop my real coding skills. So I basically wasted a lot of months, and I was absolutely crying about it. Like, how am I gonna be able to do this? But now I'm able to create anything that I want, any app, any idea. It's just here. I also use AI now. AI is an amazing tool that helps you automate the repetitive tasks. For example, if I'm doing something over and over again, I can just ask it to AI and it does it for me. It's amazing. Let's get into the tools that I use daily. I use Cursor AI, a code editor called Golang. I use Golang because it's much better than Cursor in Golang support. Golang is a code editor developed by JetBrains IDE. By the way, for the design inspirations and for designing the website for the front-end developers out there, I highly suggest using Mobin and Dribble. Also try to learn Figma and First Design before building your project. And First Design for mobile users, not for the desktop, because mobile is much more used than the desktop. In my journey, I tried to code 2 hours a day after school, which was hard because I had a lot of homeworks, a lot of friends to spend time with. But I was able to do it, and I was able to learn the whole front-end just from an iPad, which was very challenging. You only need a computer to learn programming these days, which is amazing. And if you have one, or even if you don't have one, like for example, if you have an iPad, you can just install a code app. My code app suggestion for iPad OS or other tablet users is called Code App, and it's amazing. It has a lot of features like VS Code, but the problem is that iPad OS is a restrictive system. It's a locked system, which does not let you install dependencies. Like for example, you cannot install a language, which is very hard for the iPad users, but you can still do some stuff and at least watch some courses to learn it. By the way, right after you learn a topic, like for example variables, loops, or just something, build a project. Build a mini project though. Be sure that you actually master it, which I did wrong, but then I learned that I was doing wrong, and then I just fixed myself. My journey was filled with a lot of bad stuff, because I just didn't know how to learn it. There is no any detailed roadmap that helps you learn to code, which is very hard. At the end, you will be able to learn to code in 6 months if you stay consistent, and you'll be able to build a lot of real-world projects. Oh, also for the database, I learned PostgreSQL, which is a very advanced and great database, and I suggest you learning Postgres or MySQL. They're the best databases out there. If I could do this at 15, then you'll surely be able to do it. Comment your goals or questions and I will reply them all. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. By the way, should I share my learning path and what techniques I use in order to learn more efficiently in the next video? Comment down. See you. Peace.